Hey, welcome back to Computer Programming Basics. In this video, we're looking at the concept of loops. Often when giving instructions, we need to repeat certain instructions as long as a certain condition is true. For example, if giving instructions for basketball free throw drills, we might say this: shoot the ball, retrieve the ball, repeat until you have made 10 baskets. This is what we call in computer programming a loop. A section of code, a series of instructions that are to be repeatedly executed as long as a certain condition is true. Now, different programming languages call loops different things. They have different syntaxes, different ways of specifying the condition. Sometimes the condition can be specified before the block of code or sometimes after. And there are other ways that programming languages will facilitate this functionality, but loops are a very common component of computer programming languages. In JavaScript, the language that we've been working with here, this is an example of how a loop could be used. Let's say we have some kind of robotic functionality that we're able to use a function called shoot ball that will cause the robot to shoot a basketball, and then it will return to us a value, either true or false, whether or not the basket was made. And so in this snippet of code here, we're declaring a variable num of baskets scored. That's set to 0 at first. Then we have the magic word here, while. In JavaScript, while is the key word that takes the place of as long as. So as long as, or while this condition is true. What's the condition? While num of baskets scored is less than 10, everything in the curly braces will execute repeatedly as long as that condition is true. What do we have in the curly braces? First, we're declaring a variable to hold the value of shoot ball. As I mentioned, it returns to us true or false if the basket were made. So then on the next one, we're using what we learned in the conditional statements exercise, and we're saying if this value, we don't have to say equals true because it is true or false. So if made basket is true, if that's true, then we're going to do what's in those curly braces there, and we're going to increment. That means we're going to add 1 to the value of num of baskets scored. Then, whether the basket were made or not, we'll go to the next line of code, which is retrieve the ball. So what we have here is a loop. This will continue until num of baskets scored equals 10, and then it will go past that last curly brace and execute. That's it. That's an example of a while loop in JavaScript. That's an example of a loop which is very common in programming languages. So let's jump into the exercise. In the exercise, we will now be implementing the draw blocks function. We used this function previously in the draw target blocks function, but now we'll actually be implementing this function using a while loop. I hope you have fun with it. Hope you learn a lot, and I look forward to seeing you back here next time on Computer Programming Basics.